Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the energy and astrology report for the week of the 18th of August. We are already in the zone of the full moon. This is the most intense full moon of the year. So if you're riding the wave pretty well, good on you, because there's two T squares, lots of opposition, lots of squares, lots happening. But also, it's been a really illuminating full moon. And that's what the moon is intended to do on a full moon. There's a lot of gratitude that we can have in this time. And I'm going to show you some of the inroads that people around me and myself have been taking around this gratitude and how to reap the harvest of this full moon. The sacred geometry of this full moon is going to start dissipating in the next few days. Planets are going to start breaking apart and moving. So there won't be as many squares and oppositions. And we're going to see the continuation of a bunch of retrograding planets starting to move direct, and also direct planets getting ready to move retrograde. That won't happen this week, but it'll happen in the weeks to come. So again, we're in yet another rite of passage of deep letting go. The theme, the signature of this full moon has been a reassessment, a realignment, a recalibration of who you are. You are not the same person. And it takes these layers that we've been peeling off since really 2020 in very significant ways to start to feel into our own truth now. Like, who am I now? One of the things we did today inside of the membership was we made the statement, I used to be, and now I am, and here's what I'm celebrating. So you can do that for yourself as part of your full moon ritual, because I have a feeling there's a lot of assessment that's taking place. Lots of energy in Virgo, lots of energy in Leo. And both of those are about my inner leadership, my inner sovereignty. And Virgo's processing it, compartmentalizing it, really seeing it for what it is. We also have Mercury retrograde conjunct the sun, and that is known as the Kazemi. And that means in the heart of the sun. So really, when a planet is like that, it's receiving these codes from the sun, the light from the sun as the biggest nourishing celestial body that we have on Earth. And it's just feeding the light codes to Mercury. What is Mercury? Our mind, what we are aware of. We're beginning to be aware of quite a bit with the Mercury in retrograde, thinking back to the past and re-understanding what happened and how did I get here. Those may be some sobering conversations. And we also have the full moon that's illuminating a new way, or at least the end of the old. As I said before, the archetype of this full moon is the high priestess. And the high priestess has this lantern. And in this case, this lantern is actually the full moon lighting us on our path. But where we're going, we actually don't know. Because most of the time we're projecting our past onto the future. And there's some awareness that we have that we can't even do that. While the mechanism of the mind might work like that, there's a higher self concept coming through that knows that where we're headed, we will not be able to apply the principles of the old. So what I'm seeing worked in this full moon time is a clarity, a really beautiful clarity coming through about who I am and who I am not. And because we're in particularity, we really don't have to try to be everything. You know, the journey of maturity is to realize that you are limited in a body mind. And that's liberating, because you don't have to be all things to all people. You don't have to know all things, even though it might be really exciting to know astronomy and neuroscience and all the things. But the truth is, you're limited. who we are inside as God consciousness is not limited, and we know all, and it's filtered through a template. And I talk about this all the time. And this is that rub, the duality of heaven on earth. So I want a presence that reassessment, the realignment is having a big impact in our relationships. And that could be part of the emotional wave that you could be on. It could be also having a big impact on your career, on what you're doing for a living, feeling this sense of completion, really, like this is done. So checking in with myself, what do I know now? What's the next right step? That's the high priestess with her moon-shaped lantern walking the path. So the impact on relationship is really where I want to go for the next few minutes and then end here in this transmission for the week, because I think it's important to untangle some of the old thought forms that we used to have around healing and doing our work. There's a gross misunderstanding, I'll say, that when we're on a spiritual path, that the more enlightened we are, the more tolerant we are. And maybe that's true around unity consciousness, around the accepting of what is. But that doesn't mean that your particularity has to be in agreement with the thing that's happening. Like, for example, inside of a relationship. So a friend just said that she's with a partner who wanted to keep their relationship open. And that was just sending her through lots of different emotions and all these old feelings coming up of, what did I do wrong? I'm not worthy. I mean, can you relate? I can totally relate. And I get that. So here's the distinction that we played together. And I want to share it with you because we do have the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. And so this is the energy of divorce. And why is it that? Because really, Aries is the energy of sovereignty, not self-abandoning, not leaving ourselves. That's our first principle. So in her response, she felt shamed that she wasn't further along the spiritual path to just accept it. And that right there is where I want to work with, because I notice that the feminine is like water. She has this amazing ability to contort herself around someone else's truth. Now, in this situation, it's a new relationship, and they're both wanting to leave behind old patterns. And so inside of it, she did not flee. She's staying in the tension of this conversation, and they're both deeply in it. Kudos to them, right? And this is what this energy is asking us to do. But it's not asking us to contort. So what if I stay in my truth? I'm going to switch it to an I so that I can speak for myself as if it were happening to me. What if I stay in my truth and I check in and I say, it's really not true for me to be in a relationship that's open. That statement right there is so damn clean. It's so incredibly actually healing. There's no emotional manipulation in it. There's no ultimatum in it. There's nothing but my truth in it. And I realize when I'm saying and uttering that it's requiring that I trust the unknown, because that person, this could just be the doorway to that person leaving. And really, my heart maybe wouldn't want that. So let's say in this scenario, my heart does not want that. I could even say, I don't want to break up and I don't want you to leave and I don't want to leave. And at the same time, it's true for me that an open relationship would not serve me. It's not good for me. Now, at the same time, so here, let's feel into the other person. So the other person gets a chance to actually feel contact. That's what it is. It's contact. When I'm wishy-washy and I'm contorting, there's no contact. It's constantly being missed. So actually, it puts this major wobble in the relationship, and then everything is leaking. And that Aries North Node hates that shit and would rather be over and like, okay, try it again with someone else. I'll bring in someone else because you didn't get this. So it's not like I have to overcome my pattern of not being open enough. It's that I get to overcome my pattern of self-abandoning. And I get to just simply say, this is what's true for me. This is what I want. And, implicit, express, or implied is, and you get to be whoever you are. That's ultimate freedom. That's freaking freedom. And when I feel free, I'm going to put myself in the other person's shoes. When I am that one receiving that information, I feel, first of all, like I've made connection. Beautiful. That's intimacy. And then secondly, I have this feeling quality of like an open hand. It's open. No one is squeezing me. No one is making me. This is very Aquarian. This is where we're going, y'all. Because truthfully, do I want to be in a relationship where someone else is contorting to be with me? Fuck no. Did that already. That's old school. That's what this Aries North Node is meant to break down. And so these are the layers and the patterns that are being revealed in these squares, because we just know Venus is opposing Saturn and Jupiter. It's loosening up, but did you get the lesson? Did you get the teaching? So that allows the person to actually have full information, and they can take that into their bodies. And so if I were receiving that, I could really take that in. Like, so what really is my stand? Was that just a cute idea I wanted to try on? Or is that really true for me now in this moment? This is how that negotiation process, and negotiation is not contorting. It's not even compromise. It's getting down to the layers of our truth. And so women, I'm going to say women, and I know there's men who watch this channel, but I really want to tell the women this, because I know that there are so many women who have been working their shit, and they have such high expectations of themselves when they get into a relationship that they're going to be this, oh, yes, whatever, I have space for all of it. Well, I don't have space for all of it. There's no way I have space for all of it. I am a particularity. I have like space for what I have space for. And if I don't have space for it, I don't have space for it. That's the level of self-love that I have for myself. And that's the level of self-love you get to have. And so let's sit in the tension of that and see how it wants to unwind itself. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to end with, because this is like a freaking gem if you really get it. Once you speak that truth, you do not need to do anything. That's just the mind like wanting to control shit and have an answer. An answer will come. Action will happen. Instead, be willing to sit in the discomfort of not knowing. Let that person on the other end work it through their energy body. Maybe they have an emotional authority and they need like time to feel the wave. Maybe they know right away. Maybe they want to sit with that and ask themselves. So let the tension be there and let it unwind whatever's there. Let a third way emerge if a third way wants to emerge. That's the creativity of the universe. And that's what it looks like when you've been working on yourself. So don't hold it against yourself. If you have a reaction, a contraction that's a no, sisters, it's time to trust the no. It's time to speak it out of your mouth and know that you're okay, that you're anchored and centered in your being. And that you're whole and complete. And here's the message of Virgo. And this is Venus is in Virgo. So let's end with this. Venus in Virgo is the virgin. And the virgin in this particular construct means I am whole and complete unto myself. And my deepest desire is to be met in that place. No contortion, no manipulation, total freedom. We're here by choice because I am whole and complete unto myself, and you are whole and complete unto yourself. That is what the astrology, in so many ways, is supporting us to get to, so that we can really have evolutionary relationships. We cannot have them if we don't master the principle of being the advocate of our own truth and declaring it so that someone else has they're the recipient of the kindness of your clarity.